Welcome to this week's episode of Top Echelon TV. I'm Marc Demaree.
And I'm Matt Deutsch.
Matt, this week we're going to talk about Top Echelon Network and what it takes to be successful. And we kind of base that on 4 pillars that we have, which is quality, communication, trust, and active participation.
That's right.
And lately you've been interviewing a lot of the recruiters in Top Echelon, and you've been finding something really unique about the active participation part.
Right. It's the 4th pillar of the network we want to talk about today, active participation. And the recruiters that I've spoken with, they've kind of taken it beyond active participation into proactive participation. What we mean by that is they do things in the network that are proactive. They make things happen. They call other recruiters. They contact them on an almost daily basis. They talk with their trading partners, and because of that, they've had success.
Yeah, and there's 3 in particular. The first is Pat McCombs of KB Search Team out of Indiana, and she deals specifically, well, not specifically, but she deals a lot with the job orders.
Right.
And what does she do to be proactive?
Well, when she has a job order and she puts it on Top Echelon Network, she doesn't just put it on the network and forget about it. She puts it on the network, and then she reaches out to her trading partners or maybe other recruiters that she doesn't know yet because they work in that niche. And she calls them up and she says, I have this job order. I thought you might be interested in it, and can we work together? What are your thoughts? But she doesn't just do that. She also contacts other recruiters when she has a job order that is outside of her niche.
Okay.
If one of her clients has a job order that isn't particularly in her niche, she doesn't shy away from it. She takes it, she tells her client, hey, I've got a group of recruiters behind me who can help me work this. And then she puts it on the network and she calls people she may not have even spoken with before. An example is Larry Barlow. She made a placement with Larry Barlow in the tax field just recently, and that was a placement she would not have made if she hadn't taken that order and put it on the network.
Of course, she did that with job orders. Then there's Daum of Alan N Associates out of Columbus, Ohio, and he does very similar things with candidates.
I spoke with Al. He does pretty much the same thing with candidates. He advocates taking these candidates, putting them on the network, but then calling specific recruiters, his trading partners, maybe people he hasn't spoken to, like Pat McCombs, and saying, hey, I have this candidate. I think they'd be a good match for your job order. Do you think we can work together? What are your thoughts? And he does this with just about every candidate he puts on the network. That has proven to be successful. He is reaching out to these other recruiters, being very proactive, and it's paying dividends. Right now, he is number 19 in the network overall, and Pat McCombs is number 11.
Number 11. And then there's Marc Tappis, who you talked to just recently, of Opportunity Search out of Maryland. And not only, of course, Pat McCombs dealt with job orders, but Marc Tappis deals with relationships.
Right. Marc Tappis is proactive in a little bit of a different way, but he's still very successful. And what he does is he reaches out to recruiters and he asks them, what do you want me to do? What part of the process do you want me to handle that would work best for you? What would be best for me to do for you? So he goes out and he asks these important questions that some recruiters maybe don't think to ask, but they're very important when it comes to building and fostering recruiter relationships. And what happens is once he does this, he identifies these things that are important to his split trading partners. It makes the placement process go much more smoothly, and they make placements. Right now, Marc is number 6 overall in the network in terms of cash in for this year.
So it's not just being active participation, but proactively going out and seeking it. And hence, of course, Marc Tappis' firm's name, which is Opportunity Search. He's going out creating opportunities for himself.
He is.
And really that leads us to an opportunity that's going on this week, which is going to be the Columbus Conference, which is going to be the 6th of the 6 conferences that Top Echelon's holding this year, and it's going to be at the Embassy Suites off Corporate Exchange Drive in Columbus, Ohio, and there's still time to register for that.
Absolutely. The conference does not start until Thursday. You've got all this week. In fact, if you want to walk up to the door on Thursday and register then, we'd be happy to have you there. So please, if you're thinking about going to a conference before the end of this year, go to this one, meet your trading partners. They're going to be there creating opportunities for you.
Be a great way of being proactive.
Exactly. Proactive for the rest of this year and planning for next year.
Yeah. Well, Matt, that kind of wraps it up for this episode of Top Echelon TV. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Check back next week.